think that the most important responsibility of being a captain is you'll be the one to carry the weight. Without someone who's leading the team, may crumble and fall.
The most important quality a captain can have is to be resilient and to have a strong mental fortitude.
We will charge and be brave through the challenges that we will face going forward.
So whether we're losing a lot of rounds or winning a lot of rounds, we want to make sure this doesn't define us.
Being a team captain is leading by example.
Get ready because it's time for our final match! Raise your banners high with pride! Show your might, UP Fight! It's the UP Fighting Maroons! With their ex-Piliin Mariano, Villaroya, Jungle Martinez, mid lane Santiago, road lane Gabrinao, and their team captain and roamer, Sikat. Let's give it up for UP Fighting Maroons! Charging from Moraita, causing a stampede. The relentless Tamaraws are aiming to succeed. Bringing green and gold, it's the FEU Tamaraws. With their XP lane, Ablanida, mid lane, Reyes, road lane, Wage, Rome, Espiritu, and Ever, and their team captain and jungler, Farin. Once again, the FEU Tamaraws. Let's show some UAAP sportsmanship. Players, give each other a fist bump. It's the final match. Uomi and Hans, take it away.
Welcome back to UAAP Esports MLBB 2026. We are down to the last match of the night. This time around, it's going to be UP Fighting Maroons against FEU Tamaraws, and we're going to be your shoutcasters for this wonderful fight. It's the Ignacio with Hans Galeria. Hans, it's the final fight of the night. So exciting to see these teams.
Yep, this is the very last game of the day, and not only that, we are also going to be acknowledging that this is the first matchup. This is the very first time that we'll be seeing this squad right here, which is none other than the FEU Tamaraws. UP Fighting Maroons, we've seen a glimpse of them basing it from a while ago. They were able to win against Ateneo de Manila University. So I wonder how FEU is going to be faring up against them, considering that they are also one of our semi-finalists.
Yep. Scoring 3 points as well against Ateneo. That was such a spectacular display of skills as well coming in from UP Sikat, and the rest of the UP squad able to mount that comeback in game number 1 and getting that clean win in game number 2. So far, it has been good for the side of UP, but as you said, for FEU, this is going to be their first and only game today.
Right.
I think it's both a good thing and a bad thing, right?
Yeah, I would say so, because again, we've seen, or they've seen, a lot of matches finally happening with a share of their group mates and from the other group as well. So if possibly they make it to the semifinals, then there's a lot of odds that they could actually work with, considering that they have a full-on schedule tomorrow with 2 teams that they have to face. But they have to first face-off this University of the Philippines team that is off to a really good start after defeating Ateneo.
Yeah, definitely. They'd like to score another sweep here against FEU and secure 6 points to almost guarantee their way towards the next phase of this tournament. If ever we do see another tie here between UP and FEU, we might be seeing at least bigger chances for other people in their group to potentially make it out of it. But right now, things are looking bleak for Ateneo after their series with UP. But with UP getting 3 points and possibly another point out of this series, having 4 points is not so bad sleeping tonight.
Yeah, I mean, like 2 games and you get 4 points. I think that's a really good scenario that they could definitely think about. What more if they actually get the sweep FEU?
6
but they
points.
also have an option. I'm talking about FEU here, to do the same thing to UP, to sweep them, to get 3 points, to tie up with the Fighting Maroons here. Because if we're looking at Group B, FEU is the only team that still doesn't have a game just yet. Ateneo, just like you said, have lost 0-2 against Adamson, have lost 0-2 against UP. Adamson also has 3 points. UP also has 3 points. So you would want to be in that same barrier, in that same echelon of things if you'd want to advance or even have another chance of making it to the next round.
If they sweep UP here, it also denies UP from getting additional points, and that puts a lot of pressure towards UP's chances tomorrow fighting against the remaining opponent. And now for the side of FEU, they will be drafting from the red side. It's UP on the blue side this time around. We have seen a lot of Melissa first picks coming in, so let's see if there's going to be bans towards that. It's going to be Coach Yaku for FEU, one of the veterans of our professional scene all the way to the Collegiate League.
Yep, and we're bound to also see a few of the Matilda and the Rafaela bans have been taken out as well. It kind of limits the option of picking the Barats for a lot of teams. They start to transition with the Esmeralda. We've seen UST in a desperate situation as well, picking up the DeRoth facing up against her, but unfortunately it did not work. So we are going to be looking at some newer approaches that FEU could possibly give us. One is to take the Melissa out, force UP to pick up something else here.
Yep, just as you called, it's going to be the Melissa taken away by FEU. Meanwhile, UP respecting the jungler of FEU, taking away the Fanny and possibly additional assassins as well. It has been quite popular for the past few seasons of UAAP to take out several assassins against FEU, mainly because of their talented jungler.
Yeah, that's Farin that you're talking about. P-Dash in the amateur scene. This guy knows how to make things work. If it's not Estacio, it could probably be him that would come up next. And they have been part of some conversations as to who is the best jungler every now and then, until DLSU, until Tating suddenly came into action last year and has proven to be that guy for DLSU in their championship run in 2025. So FEU, clean slate as of the moment. They don't have to worry about a lot of things as we speak, but the Paquito is going to be the main choice of UP. It seems like it is very determined that they're looking to target the jungler of FEU.
Oh yeah, they're taking away several of the snowball heavy options here for FEU. They want to force a scaling matchup where maybe something more on the farming end rather than the killing end, taking away the Paquito and the Fanny. It seems that if it's inevitable to have an assassin to assassin matchup, they'd rather have a Nolan and Hirara just so they could just farm around the map, get kills when they have to, and not erratic junglers such as the Fanny or the Paquito that could suddenly burst out with damage.
Yeah, I agree. It feels like for UP, they're delaying those, or they're taking out those heroes that feel like could give an immediate amount of impact right away. They don't want those kinds of heroes except for the Hirara. Unless UP picks it up, then it means that 4 heroes will already be denied by UP, and we haven't even started drafting yet.
That's true. First pick here for UP Fighting Maroons. They could definitely just take away the Hirara from the hands of Farin. And this is going to be one of the smartest choices and the most crucial ones that they have to take here in this series. If they do give away the Hirara, I'm pretty sure that it's going to be picked up by Farin right away.
Yeah, because I think it's illogical to take out 3 heroes and then suddenly give probably the best assassin.
The best remaining
right,
one.
the best remaining one so far here in this game number 1. So I can definitely say that UP would probably be considering giving Martinez, who has been an MVP in terms of their game against Ateneo, to this Hirara that could really bode well for the Fighting Maroons. But on the other side, FEU, they do have an option still of picking up the Belleric, which has been the transitioner, which has been the usual routes of Red 1 and 2 for pickups coming in from the Red side.
And the Uranus open as well with the Barretts on.
Wow!
They're gonna go for the Atlas instead. Give away the Hirara to Farin. And the Uranus, the Barretts is open to take here for UP. But I feel like FEU is baiting it out, mainly because the Novaria is also open to take.
Yeah, but I wonder about the thought process of UP here.
That was a
Why
heavy
not
decision.
Get the Hirara for your side. I mean, it's a very solid hero that could fill up the composition. You could fill it up with supporting cast later on and have it as the star of the show. Maybe they're depending it on the Harley. You don't have the Nolan anymore, so because you've taken it out yourself. So you need a hero that can go toe-to-toe with the Hirara in terms of the early game jungle clearing. And I don't think it's there anymore because you've taken out the 3 possible options for it.
Yeah, and I think the only remaining assassin would be the Suyo or a Hayabusa, but even then it's going to be really hard. And sped up with the Selena pick, this Hirara would just rampage through the entire jungle quite early on, but a very interesting pivot here for UP. Going in for the Esmeralda quite early and the Rafaela as well, but because of this Atlas pickup, it's quite revealed that this most likely will be a Rafaela in the mid lane.
You know, we haven't seen a Rafaela in a while today because it has been either banned or it really isn't there anymore because it's banned again.
The last time we saw it here was first match.
Yeah, dude, that's how banned the Rafaela is over the course of the very first day. The Matilda, we see it every now and then, but Rafaela, not so much. So UP is going to have to make the most out of this. But again, the dilemma that the Fighting Maroons are currently at is the jungler because they banned out so many and they've left the best one, again, debatably the best one onto the hands of FEU. So I wonder, do they pick up the Suyu? Does Martinez pick up a Harley once again? I don't know. And I still don't know if they would bode very well against the Hirara.
Yeah, and rightfully so. With his Hanzo ban, this also takes out another option that we haven't even mentioned yet. FEU definitely has their bases covered here. And with that Hirara on their side, we could expect them to go in for early to mid-game power spikes.
Right.
And for UP, they do have good tempo control because of their Rafaela mid. They have to pair this with at least a strong gold laner or maybe something that scales ultra late game, but it has to be balanced out by at least one more pick that doesn't need a lot of money to function. And the roles left for that would be either the gold lane or the jungle. In which case, would you really play a tank jungle here?
I mean, if you have, I would say, a Barrett's jungle, maybe, because you have the Rafaela on the other side, it would be okay, but I wouldn't say that it would be solid. You know, it's just to get over the hump, to get over the situation. You have the tools to be able to pull it off. It's just that you're facing off against a Hirara. So the Brody is going to be the pickup here, the choice for the FEU Tamaraws, and this is where we get our answers. Do they go utility or will they force another assassin even with the Rafaela in the mix?
Alternatively, they could go for a Yi Sun Shin and maybe another fighter. Go for a double fighter lineup. Relegate this Esmeralda towards the gold lane.
Because the Paquito's gone.
Because the Paquito's gone, you know? Just put the Esmeralda towards the gold lane. Pretend like you're going up against a Hareth. And then just place, I think a Yi Sun Shin would work out really well here for UP. It just really depends on what kind of play style they want to play with. And man, things are looking tough. I feel like the early game from FEU is just too potent.
Oh, yeah. That's for sure. Yeah, imagine having a Selena, Brody, and a Hirara in a single lineup.
And
even
a
a
Uranus
too. Like, man, there goes. The Harley is premeditated. It felt like the plan that UP had with choking out the heroes that would be potent for Farin to be able to use worked out in FEU's favor even, and it placed UP in a very tough position to pick up a Harley that would not be enough in terms of the scaling and matching up in terms of the jungle objective. So he's really going to have to use the deadly magic in a very precise time, a time where the iframes of the Hirara will not be available. And to be fair, it doesn't really happen very often.
Yep, and I think that would mean that you'd either go for the Brody instead, or maybe some other target. But I agree 100%, Hans. The banning scheme coming in from UP definitely felt weird. Banning out several assassins early on in the banning phase #1, only to prioritize an Atlas, then give away the Hirara towards FEU. So, wow, a very unorthodox way to enter this fight for the side of the UP Fighting Maroons. But meanwhile, for FEU, it seems like out of the gate, they already have a lot of their power pickups quite early on in this game. That Brody in Uranus would do wonders around 5 to 6 minutes in.
I mean, that's just a lot of early game pressure already. We've seen a lot of mistakes from all of our collegiate teams where they make certain or minor blunders in the first 2 to 3 minutes of the matchup before that that turtle fight actually starts to happen. And now UP is in a task that is close to very difficult, because they have a Harley on their side. Although Martinez knows how to use this to the fullest of its potential, facing a Herrera, a Salina, and the Brody, he's gonna have to work twice as hard.
And with his Clint as well, at least they do give on a bout of early fight here in the purple buff. Martinez doesn't get his purple, but here comes the Atlas. Finds one. Reyes is in trouble. That's going to be the Selena going down, and Santiago looks to be the next target. The Harley goes back. No regen from Ablanida, but he does get one as well. Espiritu going down to low HP. Critical mass here for Espiritu. No damage coming in from Sikat, and that's going to be a double kill for Mariano. And things work out for UP, despite FEU pulling the trigger first.
It's a slight sense of overextension that arrived from the FEU Tamaraws. They had the right intention for it. It's just that they were too deep in that moment. FEU had the right mindset, had the right plan. It's to overwhelm them with a ton of people, a ton of bodies. It's just that it did not work so well because the Esmeralda was ready to help, ready to assist when it mattered the most.
Agreed. It's 100% not because UP set it up for that fight to happen. It's 100% because FEU overextended, man. They knew they had the early game power spike, but they overstepped too early, and that would put a lot of favor here towards UP for the upcoming turtle fight. And looking at the battle spells, no Purify available for Abdanida, and it seems like they're going to go for Mariano first, but the regen is there. Steps on a trap, tries to fall Star Moon away. He does survive out of that fight, and Turtle looks to be FEU's to take.
Yup, that Star Moon gave him at least some HP bars to help out. Farin is going to be taking the very first turtle of this game, so FEU does have a very slight advantage in terms of gold, but very slight. I'm talking about just 100 here. UP definitely still in the game because they've had the first blood. They've also had some bunches or a couple of kills over FEU, so UP is just gonna have to rotate a little bit faster here, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. Wage is gonna be put in a very difficult position here, but as a Brody, not really feeling the pressure as of the moment, it's still gonna be a-okay for the gold laner.
Yeah, and getting that crab as well means he does get a slight advantage against Gabrinao on his Clint. Ablanida, however, might be biting more than he could chew. Deadly magic onto the Uranus. I don't think he's surviving this one. Nice shield, however. That's a mega kill for Mariano. And that's 4-0 on the Esmeralda.
Yep, and on the other hand, we're looking at the mid lane as well. The attack is about to happen once more. Espirito is going to be stuck under the turret. There's going to be no other way for him, but as soon as I say that, an AOG is going to help him escape. So an ultimate for another is going to be both the casualties just for UP and FEU, but not to a life. But as soon as I say that, the Esmeralda Mariano 5-0-0, a dream start for the XP laner.
And when we look at the Esmeraldas of the world, usually the Esmeralda would like to go tanky to provide frontline for UP. But in this case, going 5-0, I can't blame Mariano if he wants to build damage. He's already building towards a talisman, and I feel like that's the correct call here. You're already ahead. You got the snowball more than anyone else. If you're able to secure that talisman quite early, you're going to be able to tank up or soak up damage even while you're dealing it.
Oh man, Mariano's gonna be a huge problem heading into the next portions of this game. UP are really making the most of what FEU is giving to them, and the reason I'm saying that is because of the very first clash that happened that wasn't supposed to go UP's way, and it seems like a gift that was inevitable to be given because of FEU overextending. Now they're going to be transitioning, looking for Espirito once again, using that Revitalize, but the Fatal Links and the perfect matches there. AOG still going to be allowing him to escape, but Martinez wanted to go for the chase, so all ultimates have almost been utilized by UP, but to no avail, no casualties for FEU.
And this is the reward you get when you have an XP laner that just have like 5 kills and cannot be touched for the most part. Almost all turtles are automatically surrendered to UP just because Mariano is playing out of his mind. And that's just because of a series of decisions that they took as well. Wage looks to be in trouble. Mariano goes in, forces out the flicker, and this will be a turret going to the hands of UP.
And again, that is because of Mariano being part of that clash. A single falling Star Moon was able to force a crucial battle spell in the future team fights for those major neutral objectives, and FEU is slowly being backed away. But for some reason, Wami, they're still leading by 300 in terms of gold, so you can't really count out this FEU squad just yet. Espirito's gonna be committing that AOG once again, but this time Mariano's gonna be waiting from a distance, also using that falling Star Moon, but no one dies in that skirmish.
And this is the 3rd time that Espirito has done this to UP, baiting out a lot of abilities, but looks like Ablanida looks to be the next target here. A lot of damage falling down to this Uranus. He does shield up for a bit, but will that be enough? And the answer is no. Caprinao takes another kill for UP's name, and they will be equalizing the game.
Yeah, he thought he had enough tankiness or durability to be able to get out of that situation. He even had the Purify that he didn't choose to commit at that moment. So FEU were just willing to take on their losses as long as it's for the greater good. Wage gets a turret down low, but the same could be said for UP after they were able to take a turret up top. So again, this is another stalemate that we are currently looking at. Both teams were able to take 2 turrets and also sharing 18,000 in terms of gold. Very similar statistics, with only Mariano being the outlier here. 5-0-0 still stays the same.
Yeah, and the sad part here for UP is that that's their frontliner. If Mariano dies, that's a lot of shutdown gold going to the hands of FEU. But if Mariano doesn't die, that means he hasn't been tanking enough damage for the side of FEU. So it's a matter of risk here, and Mariano already half HP. Nice healing coming in from Santiago with this Rafael mid, as UP actually goes in for the last turtle of the game.
Yeah, I think that's also the reason why Mariano has been activated so much, because of the Rafaela, and Martinez is going to be the one to take it. Locating right down below is going to be Farin, still using those iframes, and that deadly magic is going to be escaped, but not Mariano this time. Another takedown goes to the side of UP, but eventually another heal. Farin is not going to be alive. Wage is going to be the one going back, and UP is just making things possible here. What seemed to be something that we did not think would be executed into perfection, they're putting up one hell of a fight.
Yeah, Mariano currently 6-0 in this game. It's honestly the most surprising fact. You'd usually want to see that on Gabrinao's hands, or maybe even Martinez. But what happened throughout the last few fights is that Mariano would find the targets towards the back line, sustaining the hell out of everyone with the shields, and eventually even building talisman so he could deal more damage as well. Reyes, off-cam kill coming in from Martinez as Ablanida tries to get a return kill. And he does get that kill for the side of FEU as well. Another one of those defensive AOGs go, however, from Espiritu.
Yup, and if there's anything positive as to what FEU has been doing from start to finish, it's the fact that Espiritu can tank that damage and still leave unscathed. So that could possibly be something that the Tamaraws could build up on later in this game. Unfortunately for them, wages scaling is going to start to go downhill from here. That Brody will not have as much damage compared to what should I say, the Melissa, the Claude, and all of the other things. And I could see the same thing about Gabrinao here. 1-0-0. We haven't seen much impact from them, so the damage output will not be as apparent. So you will heavily rely on both Martinez and Parin to be joining in the party for majority of these team fights.
And it seems that Ablanida is the next target here for UP. The Abyssal Arrow doesn't land. And the call here for FEU is to try and get this mid lane turret. But Mariano is standing strong in the mid lane, just making sure that UP is able to protect their outer tier turrets, except for the side lanes, in which case FEU is starting to attack the top lane and the bottom lane as well before they start this Lord. It's a 2v1 scenario down bottom lane, but this Lord is already started.
Yep, they're going to be rushing this quite quickly. 30% is the HP of the very first Lord of this game. Sikat knocked up. Now it's going to be the fight continuing again, and Farin is going to be taking it for FEU. Now will they turn onto the side and AOG forward this time? The very first for Espiritu, but Reyes goes down first. It's a 4v5. Sikat goes down as well. A punish from the others there. They target the one at the back, and Martinez goes down. The flank is unsuccessful, but Wage goes down this time around, and Mariano, because of the 6-0 and 2 performance, is going to be staying alive. And Farin is going to be doing the same thing, and Gabrinao will be going down. That is a trade for both of the teams, but FEU wins that Lord.
What a trade-off for FEU. They were behind for almost 2,000 gold, and that very decisive call of just going for the Lord gave them the edge that they looked for right now. And looking at that replay onto that Lord area, that wasn't a 50-50. They saw two members from the side of UP down bottom lane, and they went immediately for the Lord. That was just decisive and cunning shot calling from the FEU squad.
And now they are marching up top together with that Lord that they've done the hard work in to be able to get in terms of the major objectives. Ablanida is going to be there right at the bush together with Sikat. Sikat considering actually using the Fatal Links against them, but again, they don't have that ample damage anymore compared to the first 5 minutes of this game. Gabrinao is gonna have to find another way to be able to create some sort of impact here, and same could be said for Wage, but again, slowly but surely, you'll feel the Brody as soon as those stacks started to pop off, because the torn apart memory is a completely different issue compared to the skill set that the Clint has.
And the worst part here for Martinez is that I think FEU has the tools to at least put him in place the moment that he uses his ultimate or uses his space escape. We saw that for the last Lord fight. Espiritu was there, Reyes was there, even Farin added to the stunts that was raining down towards the head of Martinez during that Lord fight. It's going to be a minute before the next big objective here, and looking at the items right now, it's going to be quite surprising to know that the Uranus actually has more gold than Mariano. 700 gold, 800 gold more than Mariano, who is currently 6-0-2.
Yeah, I guess there's just a lot more activity that's been happening for Ablanida every once in a while. Mariano, sure, he was able to maximize on it, but I think it's because of him being part of majority of team fights and not really getting to clear a lot of the minion waves, which Ablanida was able to do because of the cuts that he was doing, the turrets that FEU was able to take, and Martinez, fortunately for him, he was able to get that purple objective, but in less than 20 seconds, both FEU and UP will have to fight for another Lord. And with the damage, not really the best forte or suit for both of the teams, yeah, they have to think of a different approach here.
Yep, and I think it's mostly just looking for the hard carries of each squads, or maybe even just the junglers here. Both Martinez and the side of Farin do have a lot of tools to escape attempts coming in from each other. But it seems that UP will be the first ones to touch this Lord. Dancing around it, there's really no clear winner in terms of the lanes as of now.
Yep, Espiritu genuinely looking for them. Look at the way Ablanida is forcing the issue. He is right there at the base of UP, trying to at least evade it, but then the ultimate from the Rafaela will not be able to hit it. Then a Fatal Links will be able to do so, and Wage goes down. The next probably coming up is gonna be Espiritu. That's 3 for the price of none. What a play from Sikat. I'm sure we're going to see it on his social media yet again, but what a play from UP taking that major objective.
Wow, total meltdown here for FEU. They lost their jungler quite early in that Lord fight, and that almost immediately guaranteed that UP will get that Lord. And even with a small attempt coming in from Reyes, throwing out an Abyssal Arrow, the retribution still holds true for that Lord. And now with the Lord marching up top, FEU has to defend for now.
But look at this replay yet again. Espirito kind of overestimating what he would want to do here, transitioning back into the real world. UP are looking to bust down on major objectives, on inhibitors that would be providing a lot of advantages in terms of the macro game, but Espirito and Avellaneda are doing everything they can not to take that down. The Lord had other plans though. That's going to be the first major disaster for FEU that they're going to have to weather with, and I think UP's very happy with that. Now they set their sights on the middle lane. A turret's going to be destroyed down bottom, but they want this mid lane inhibitor, and Avellaneda can't do anything about it. The fight is about to continue, but Farin says not just yet. Let's go back. We had our lead anyway.
Yeah, that's 2 inhibitor turrets though for FEU. They lost so much from that Lord fight, and the gold lead just spiked up here for UP, almost 4,000. And that would translate to at least an item or so. Looking at Mariano right now, still so far a very stellar Esmeralda game, 6-0-3. And with the heals coming in from Santiago, this is something that I don't feel like is stoppable as of now unless you're able to land a very good arrow coming in from Reyes.
Yeah, which I think is tough considering the movement speed boost that the Rafaela gives out to the rest of the members of UP. FEU, on the other hand, is going to be finding Avellaneda once more. He's going to be stuck yet again. A Falling Storm is going to be committed. Winter Crown is going to be utilized. He's letting everybody else chase him, but he's going to be staying alive. AOG is going to be entering. Santiago is going to be the main target. Instead, he transitions onto Sikat. Farin is going to be from behind.
No!
Everybody looking for him, but Farin goes down first. And a 2 Fatal Link knockdown is going to be putting UP at a significant disadvantage. Espirito goes down. Avellaneda tries to protect Reyes, who was throwing abyssal arrows every once in a while. But Mariano is really pulling off a show, a star of the moment. And now they're going to be knocking on the base. They would continue to attack. A 2-on-5 scenario. Company now from the back. But that doesn't matter as UP fighting through and winning game 1.
And what an opener for the UP fighting Maroons after securing that sweep against Ateneo. It seems that the confidence is sky high for the group as UP fighting Maroons secure 4 points officially on the tally and is looking to get their 6 points before going back to Diliman.
Man, Sikat is feeling his swagger.
Look at that.
Over those last 5 minutes of the clash. Man, those Fatal Links have been on point. When FEU was least expecting it, they suddenly popped off, and that was the catalyst as to how UP was able to take this victory. I mean, FEU had the right idea. They were trying to come from different directions. Farin was at the very front or the very back lines trying to locate the squishiest heroes from this FEU roster or this UP roster, but it still didn't work. They still didn't have enough damage.
Yeah, and again, this was coming in from a very weird and unorthodox drafting phase coming in from UP fighting Maroons. We saw them ban out so many assassins only to give out the Hirara. We were so worried that they gave one of the best, if not the best jungler in the meta right now to someone who is quite talented, such as Farin. And even if they did give that away, it felt like all of them had plans and all of them had the information that they needed to deal with this spectacular Hirara player. And at the end of the day, they got their point, they got their win. And I'd say that this was just a master plan for UP fighting Maroons.
Yeah, it all worked out in the end. That's what matters. You know, maybe the Hirara first pick are the friends we met along the way, man. Not the Atlas. The Atlas is their Hirara. You know, when you think about it, Sikat, just basing it on that last clash that we saw right here, those are 2 heroes. 3 if Avellaneda didn't really commit this Purify, but that was a lot of damage that UP was more than willing to take, and Sikat, obviously being the MVP of that match, he was stellar in his performance, and I'm sure that he's very happy about this. I mean, you saw it at the end of that game. Yeah,
he was air punching.
I hope I was in the air.
Man, he did a 1-2-3 combo, jabbing through the air right after that win. That was just the face of a man that has secured 4 points for his university and is willing to extend that to 6.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're on pace to be able to do that. If that's going to be the case, obviously they have to worry less about what's going to happen tomorrow because they only have one match. But
That's true.
you wouldn't want to be complacent, right? That's the thing. 4 points to 6 is a totally different story considering that FEU, this is a team that was able to make it in the Final 4 of last year's UAAP
That's true.
Esports in MLBB division. So if there's any team that could eventually make it back, especially having P-Dash, aka Farinho, having Wage and Ablanida, majority of the FEU squad is from that side of the floor, from the 2025 roster as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if they manage to give a hard reset and give us another good fight.
Yeah, they gotta snap out of what happened there. They had their early game antics happen quite early, a bit too early inside the jungle of UP, and that allowed UP to scale out of their minds. Mariano in this game on this Esmeralda able to secure a 6-0-2. Sure, the Uranus was able to catch up at some point, but that also allowed them to have so much pacing in this game with the Rafaela as well. Man, UP is looking to be one of the favorites of Group B right now.
Yep, definitely. I think if they get this sweep, they're going to be out of the woods, man. They can make it to the semifinals straight up. Because I think if you lose twice, then you're out. If you win twice, you're supposed to be in, right?
Yeah, I think logically speaking, having 6 points does put you in a really good place. And being below 6 points does put you in a very bad place, and that is already happening towards other teams here inside the league. And going back, this is just day one. Tomorrow is another day for a lot of these teams, and FEU, on the other hand, would only have one game tonight.
Correct.
This is their first and their last one for day one. And tomorrow they will be playing 2 games. So if they're able to, let's say they are able to tie this out in a 1-1 scenario, that caps the points as well for UP to a potential 7.
7, correct.
Right?
So correct, that's gonna be 7. So instead of you giving away an extra 2 points, limit that and get a point of your own, right? At least you'll go home tonight with a positive, because so far, from what we saw in that game number 1, there were moments where it really was not just some minor errors, right? It was heavily crucial errors that turned the tides of the game into UP's favor, and UP is very well known of heavily capitalizing on those mistakes. So FEU, they're the veterans of, you know, UAAP Esports, or at least 3 or 4 of the dudes that belong to this squad. So they should be able to do something about this. But again, UP, I wouldn't say they're the new kids on the block, but it feels like they are a new powerhouse that we're going to have to watch out for.
Yeah, definitely. And this is very far off from what they've shown for the past few iterations of UAAP Esports MLBB. I think for the first and second season, they always found themselves towards the latter part of the league where they couldn't really find the wins that they wanted. Meanwhile, for FEU, for the longest time, they're the middle of the pack. They're always top 4, top 3, one of those people to look out for. And obviously, you know that they could contend for the championship, but not that level yet. And right now, it's really sad to see the FEU squad, a lot of them still there from their earlier iterations, now falling behind. And maybe needs a wake-up call after that game number 1 and a hard reset in game 2.
But maybe there's still time.
That's true.
Maybe there's still an opportunity for FEU to be able to bounce back and tie this series up, and that is through game number 2. They can limit out the points. I think that is what's important. It's not just about winning the game. It's also limiting your opponent from eventually having all the confidence in the world, because if they do get that point, or they get those couple of points, then it means that FEU is going to be stuck in danger zone, because they'll be facing Adamson with 3 points, and they'll also be facing, I believe that is
who else is in Group B?
Yeah, Adamson. I think Adamson they only have to worry about, because Ateneo already lost twice. Right? It's Ateneo, Adamson, FEU, and UP. So those guys are already it's gonna be looking good for UP if they won this, but for FEU, they're gonna be stuck at 0 if they lose this.
And if they do fight against Ateneo has the chance to just ruin the party here for FEU. If they're able to score at least 1 win against FEU tomorrow, let's just say if FEU isn't able to secure a point here, that's going to be drastically removing their chances from getting out of group stage, considering that ADU has already secured 3 points earlier today. And that's going to be a scary time to be part of the FEU fans. And I'd like to remember that one time, I think Season 1 of UAAP MLBB, that Ateneo did the same thing to DLSU in Season 1. Ruining the tournament favorites' chances to get the next stage just because DLSU couldn't sweep anyone.
They literally ruined the friendship that they didn't have. You know, it felt like, okay, let's just make this some sort of formality. Let's go get them on to the semifinals. Be merry on your way. And then Ateneo says, no,
You're coming with me.
You're coming with me to the nether realm. You know, to the dark side. And unfortunately, for a moment 2 years ago, they were sharing the same set of seats with us. They were just watching the finals, probably from here or the comfort of their own homes. But man, FEU, they don't want to be in that same sort of position, because after this, they'll be facing Ateneo. If they beat Ateneo, sure, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
They get 3. If they don't beat Ateneo, man, probably game over.
Tough match for ADU though.
Tough match for Adamson University, correct? Because they've already met Adamson from before. If I remember correctly, they were able to win against Adamson. I wonder if Adamson wants that to happen again. I'm sure as hell they don't want that to happen again. So,
oh yeah, especially with the new roster that they made here. It's only Tanyoko, their XP laner from the last iteration of the Adamson Soaring Falcons, that retained. So it's a completely different roster that they're dealing with tomorrow. Not the same roster that they fought last season. And right now, Rafaela taken away by FEU. No more shenanigans. No more Atlas.
No more healing.
Rafaela, the world stops healing tonight.
You know, the world is healing. Usually is whenever you see your closest friends become enemies at some point in time. But today, no one gets healed. Except for, of course, everybody else outside of UAAP Esports that needs it.
Hopefully,
disclaimer, yeah.
Hopefully you guys are safe and sound.
Yeah.
And I think there will be an upcoming storm again. Hopefully it does fly away. Just fizzles out to wherever, you know.
Or it just calms down, you know.
Yeah, or maybe Sierra Madre goes in and just like
protects everybody.
Just like they always do, right?
Yeah, thank you, Sierra Madre.
Thank you, Sierra
Just
Madre.
put that in the comment section when you guys know.
W Sierra Madre.
Thank you so much for your service. Anyway, to continue, this is UP now banning the same set of heroes for Farin. It felt like it was the recipe for success that they've had in game number 1. And if they're going to be pulling off the Hirara again, will FEU bite it once more? Because the Atlas is going to be available. So they're going to... no, the Atlas is no longer available because FEU took it out. So if this is the same scenario, will they be the ones to pick up the Hirara, or will they let it go yet again?
The Freya is not yet banned though.
That's true.
So the moment that the Freya is opened up, the entire drafting changes, because suddenly there are more heroes that are, I would say, quite out there. Like could counter the Freya, maybe even assist it quite a bit. Suddenly Hylos enters the conversation.
Correct.
Or maybe the Kaja being open, suddenly the Nether Realm, the Faramis is suddenly put into the equation. So it really depends on what this last ban is coming in from UP. If they take away the Barracks, sure, that opens up the Freya. But I feel like if you're UP, the smartest thing to do here is just ban the Freya. Unless they think that FEU doesn't play Freya.
Which I highly doubt. I highly doubt. This is going to be a test. I mean, they're also putting off some live streams of their own. They're doing it all over social media, so they've trained enough. Maybe a month, maybe 2.
They opened it.
They open it. The Nolan's going to be the choice here. So either you go with the Freya, you go with a Hirara instead.
Or a Barrats.
Or a Barrats too. I mean, that's lots of choices. Those are the trilogy of heroes that you can pick up first that would go to the other side if you don't pick them.
And the Belleric is open as well. There are just a lot of open power picks here. I feel like if you're FEU, don't bite the bait just yet. Don't get the Freya if you're FEU, mainly because it feels as if that you're walking right into a trap.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go
for the Melissa.
I totally forgot about that hero.
And now UP, if they do get the Freya, it's safe to get the Freya if you're going to get the Belleric with it.
Yeah, that's true. Or if you get the Freya, maybe you can counter Barrats with it at the same time. Or you pick up the Barrats yourself so that you can counter the Freya. There's just so many things going on because of so many heroes open. Like, come on now.
They could get the Freya plus someone to make that Freya safe. But they're going to go for the Esmeralda and Hirara, which opens up the Belleric and the Barrats for FEU. I feel like if you're FEU, just turn off your brains, get the big boys, get the Barretts, get the Belleric.
Yeah, just trust on the chunky boys,
Just
man.
trust the chunky boys,
Just
man.
trust the chunky boys.
You
and-
already have the Melissa anyway.
Oh my gosh, is this gonna be the draft that they'll be denying the Hirara, man? Harley is gonna be there, picked up once again. No Nolan, no Fanny. Fine. We'll go with something we're familiar about once more. Although some of the deadly magic ultimates that Parin was able to pull off was evaded by Martinez. This is where things are going to be changing though. The Barats has finally been picked up. So the roamer and the mid laner is still not available for the side of FEU. You need an activator if you want that Barats in its full potential.
Yeah, and for the side of UP, the Novaria is completely open to take. Really good against the Melissa, really good against the Barretts. The only problem here is that the Harley will most likely just hunt you down again and again.
Yep.
So it's going to be a risky play to go for the Novaria. But overall, it's a 2-for-1 trade. If you're able to play really well against this Harley, you're going to be able to incapacitate not only the Barretts, but also incapacitate the Melissa as well.
Yeah, you're going to be willing to take that risk.
Oh, they're going to go for the Belleric.
They just decided to go for the Belleric. I'm surprised that Kaja wasn't picked up at all in the first phase. Because again, you have the Barats, who's not as mobile. You have the Melissa as well, who has been the primary target in case you don't have that front line. So, hey, the Belleric works in the same manner if it really does, because it taunts, it leaves, and it attracts your opponents, which leaves both the Esmeralda to use the Star Moon and the Irara to just cut them off. Go for it right away and go for the kill straight up. But the first 3 picks, I felt like these are the identities of the squads that we've been witnessing. For FEU, it's that Harley. It's like that trump card that has been activated just because the Fanny, the Paquito, and the Hirara has been denied quite quickly.
And now they're going to take away the Novaria. Both mages are actually not yet available for both squads.
Right.
They're already trimming down the options for both teams here. Now with the Eudora taken away and the Novaria as well, you're looking at other mid lane options. You're looking at the Eve. The Farsa is also available to take, or maybe even going back to classics such as, you know what, those are the classics. The Eve is the classics. There's no really other choices. The Valentina could be a choice here for the side of FEU, but I doubt they're going to give that away. There's no big ultimate here yet for FEU, but UP could take a Valentina in Red 4 just so they could deny the copy of the Wrath of the Dryad away from FEU.
Yeah, I'm even wondering if UP is going to be considering the Faramis yet again, because they were the ones who used it against the Melissa matchup where they were able to actually win for some reason, and that it has been a very light answer as to how Melissa has been wreaking havoc over the course of time here at UAAP Esports Day 1. So that's going to be the task, to try to locate where the Melissa is going to be coming from. The Novaria is no longer there. Melissa, or Selena rather, is finally out. It's going to be up to either the Faramis, the Valentina, or probably something else that could find that Melissa when it's needed, because it's needed right now.
And I think if you would like to get a scaling mid laner, a Sicilian or maybe even a Farsa could work out here for UP if they wanted to just take out this Melissa. But again, the Harley just poses such a big threat that a Lilia doesn't sound too off here, considering you're also up against a Barretts. But the question is, are they going to reveal their mage just yet, or go for a gold laner? What? Oh, they're going to go for... They relegate the Esmeralda towards...
To the gold lane?
Gold lane. And potentially an XP lane.
Belleric.
Belleric, yes. And a roam...
Or I don't know if you've seen this before, Matilda at the mid lane.
Oh yeah, we've seen this before.
We've seen this before, yeah.
Way back though.
Yep, Matilda in the mid lane, Belleric goes to the roam, and then Esmeralda stays at XP, because Mariano has been pretty good, not gonna lie. He was pretty amazing in that game number 1. But of course, Espiritu and the rest of FEU are going to be plotting that Lilia and the glue, which I would say is a very decent combination, because that's a way for you to peel the HPs of both the Esmeralda and the Belleric once they get close.
Yeah, and now final pick here for the side of UP. A lot of peel coming in from UP, but not really much damage just yet. You have damage coming in from the Hirara and the Esmeralda, but you really need that oomph. You really need that burst. I'm not sure where you're going to get it, though. Maybe in the gold lane, go for a Brody, a Clint, or maybe any early game marksman, but they're going to go for a reverse instead. They're going to go for a late game marksman with that Hanabi locked in with the Matilda. Offers a lot of protection. Sure, this is a combo that we've seen that works so far, but it's going to take time for UP.
Yup, they're going to wait a little longer. FEU is trusting on their crystal ball. As of the moment, they're hoping that it's going to be for the best. Not a reverse sweep, but a tie is going to be imminent for FEU to stay in a positive race towards making it towards the semifinals. But UP is on a totally different storyline. They want this sweep. They want to take it straight to the semifinals. And I believe this is going to be happening for the first time if they do so.
Oh, yes. And UP definitely in the brink of making something great, leaving something great here in UAAP Esports MLBB 2026 as we head on to game number 2. The coaches already making their theories around what could happen in this game. The Barats, definitely an interesting pickup here with the glue. A lot of displacement on the side of FEU. Meanwhile, for the side of UP, a lot of late game damage in the hands of Gabrinao as we enter the Land of Dawn for the last game of day number 1 of UAAP Esports MLBB 2026.
Again, you're going to have to be really careful as to how you're going to be approaching the first 2 minutes of this game, because there have been a lot of games over the first 2 minutes where it was over as soon as the pickoff started happening. One blunder from your team fights is going to be meaning the end of the run for you here. It's either going to be a tie for FEU or a sweep for the UP Fighting Maroons. And for the latter, if they get to achieve that, then it means a surefire ticket towards the semifinals, something that FEU doesn't want to give just yet. So Espiritu is going to be escaping, not using any battle spell, which is good for the Tamaraws.
Just great split here for FEU.
Yep.
Get out of that sticky situation. Martinez on his Hirara once again, going in the mid lane. And now UP does go in quite early down the bottom lane, assisting Gabrinao quite early. And I feel like this is the right shot call. If you're UP, you know for a fact that you're banking on this Hanabi to be what it's supposed to be, a late game carry. But there you go, Santiago gets bursted down by Farid, but the damage from the Deadly Magic's not enough.
Yep, Santiago already committing onto that Purify skill to be able to get out of that situation. He will not have that for the very first turtle fight of this game. FEU is going to be putting their sights on the position. Only the Barats by Ablanida is going to be present here. The rest are still on their way with only a second left for it to spawn.
I think Ablanida did win the battle for the first XP lane crab. That's why he did reach level 4 first. But it seems that FEU will be the ones to establish their position around this first turtle. But with the purple spawning in quite a while, I feel like this will be a prolonged turtle fight unless both teams agree to just juke it out quite early.
Yep, Seacut not yet at level 4, so the Wrath of the Dryad is not going to be present just yet. Same could be said for Espirito, but this is going to be locking down at least together with the Patrick Let's. Circling Eagle's going to be available as well.
50-50.
Turtle down low, and that's going to be Farin taking the very first turtle of this game and then bursts down on the other side. Martinez goes down first for the very first blood of this game, and then Seacut is going to be coming up next. This might be another condition, but Mariano wins against Espiritu once more. So that is Mariano's Esmeralda being a silver lining, but FEU was able to take a lot more.
Yeah, definitely. That was a big win for FEU, considering that they got 2 for 1 plus the turtle. And look at that, just a great Detona's welcome, stunning up Martinez quite early. And that's the jungler not being able to press his retribution button. Back to the life we go. Mariano, low HP, gets shot down by Ablanida. And that's Farin's Deadly Magic that dealt the blow.
Bro, that saliva of the Barats is like floor is lava mentality, man. It just hurts so much. And in addition to the tankiness that he provides, the Dreadnought armor is already going to be there for Ablanida. Totally different story as to what we saw from his Uranus in game number 1. This time, he has a way to displace. He has a way to actually change the tides of this game. He's not just some sort of sandbag that would stand in your way. And that, I think, is what FEU would like to see from him even more.
And we've seen it already. Currently 2-0-1 Ablanida, making starting fights for the side of FEU. And immediately Martinez goes down. The combo is starting to be really painful here for UP as the orange buff is taken away by Farin as well. That's the second conversion that they've gotten out of that Daytona's welcome.
Yup, and that is Farin, not even getting a single kill out of that, but has 4 assists, so we can definitely say that he has a really good advantage against Martinez, who already faced his second death in game number 2. That means the Hirara isn't as effective, especially facing off against the Barats, together with Igloo, Espiritu, and Ablanida have been consistently looking for the opposing side's jungler every time and every single moment. Now it's going to be Espiritu again locating the rest of the members in, but with the turtle spawning, I think that comes to a halt.
Yeah, and UP will be fighting for this turtle. I feel like they're going to go for Reyes first though. Mariano already dealing a lot of damage. Espiritu zones him out. Sika trying to get the turtle's attention as Espiritu goes in. Santiago looks to be the target, goes in with a split, grabs him back to his team, but no follow-up damage as FEU goes for the turret instead. Nice models coming in from the gold lane of FEU as they go in for that fight. A flicker play as Sika gets that kill, but Farin gets the turtle.
That's a roamer for the price of a major objective. UP would eventually take that W when it matters. Gabrinao is also going to be pushing even further. Will he be successful? The answer is yes. That's a major win for the UP Fight campaign as FEU has made some tough calls here that really rallied UP back into this game as they are only trailing by 1K.
And this is quite dangerous if you're FEU. This Hanabi has been free farming for quite a while.
Yep.
But Ablanida looks to be looking for Sikat, but they're not going to go for him. And UP still fighting around the corners. Gabrinao is 0-0-0, but that's the winning condition for UP.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
I'm happy that you mentioned the Hanabi because I literally forgot that he's part of this game, and I think that's how you know.
That's how you know it's
That's
working.
how you know it's working, because in the midst of 4 UP fighting Maroons, fighting off against the 5 of FEU, that means that things are going well. That means that the gold is starting to go to their side of the major damage dealer that they're going to be expecting in the later portions of the game. So FEU would have to be a little bit more aggressive than usual. They already are. They just have to be a little bit more selective as to where the targets are going to be like.
And you could say the same for Wage, though. I think Wage even has more gold than Gabrinao. And in terms of scaling, sure, the Melissa will still hurt come late game. But there's really nothing stopping a farmed-up Hanabi.
Yep.
A 6-item Hanabi if this reaches all the way down around 25 minutes or so. So for UP, I feel like the game plan is simple. As long as FEU doesn't get ahead by around 5,000, 6,000 gold lead by minute number 15 or minute number 18, we should be the ones dictating the pace. Meanwhile, for FEU, timers against them. They have Farin on this Harley, and he should be able to make plays right now. This is quite literally his power spike.
Yep, he just showed himself going to the very first or second turtle fight that we're going to be seeing here from both of the teams. There goes the split once again from Espiritu.
Nice.
Now the lock-in, but Farin is going to be able to take the second turtle of this game yet again. Sikat still escaping out of the situation. Circling Eagle's going to be utilized as well, but Martinez using that iframe at the right moment to just get out of there and stay safe. But we cannot deny FEU slowly increasing their goal lead, and that is what Farin wants, for them to commit a lot of their bodies just to protect the objectives that he can actually take.
Yeah, and FEU is doing a great job for that, because at this point, if you're UP, the slower this game goes, the better. If you're FEU, getting those objectives, getting those kills is something that you have to do before the 15, 18-minute mark. 'Cause the moment the 18-minute mark starts, and this Hanabi already has a Trinity, maybe even a Rose Gold Meteor, there's really not much you could do around this guy unless you're able to directly damage him, in which case you do have the choices. You have Farin, you have Wage, and that would take a lot of effort though. UP, they just have to slow this down. FEU, make plays happen again and again. They've already made it happen in the objectives, but it feels like it slows down every time right after.
And look at this. It's the Hanabi, the Gabrinao, just trailing by at least 100 or 200 initially before an item was finally bought here by Wage, which means that he is still in pace to be able to do something in this game. It's just that for UP, they're going to have to wait a little longer. It did not go the way that it's supposed to, but now they're going to be jumping on Seacat this time. They will not be using that ultimate, but now they do. The Revitalize is going to be there. The Spiritus is going to be using the Flicker, and everybody's going to jump him on the same time. Here's Wage and the rest of FEU trying to help out the rest of the members in, and Mariano explodes onto the damage of the Tamaraws, and that's -1 for the Fighting Maroons. FEU fighting back.
And look at the damage coming in from Farin in that fight alone, plus the damage coming in from Wage in that 3v1 scenario. The spacing coming in from Wage right now is starting to look really good against UP. And UP, even if they are ahead or behind by 4K, they're still trying to defend, and I feel like that's the only call that you could do.
Yep, that is the only call that was possible at that moment for UP. Unfortunately, they've lost a lot in terms of that. FEU now blitzing onto the Lord, and this is the counterattack that they have been waiting for, with Wage securing that major objective, leaving UP to get a bit more of those scraps that they've been consistently trying to fight for. Now the fight ensues, and then Farin goes down. He's going to be the first victim of that UP onslaught. Seacat from the back. What a way through the Wrath of the Dryad as well. And then Mariano's going to be heading back, and then Wage just unleashes hell on the side of the UP Fighting Maroons, and they're going to be backing away one by one. But a total of 2 heroes will go down. Wage is now online.
And this is something that FEU has been waiting for quite a while. Even if Wage wasn't able to get his kills, the damage is already felt. UP now has to respect it. The moment that the muddles land, you can't stay in that perimeter for a while. And now with the Lord marching up top lane, you have to be able to safely secure your lives and the Lord away from your base. You have the shields, you can use it, but it seems that UP, they want to save that for the bigger wave. And FEU, they don't really have the trigger to pull right now. So it seems that this is going to be a very successful defense for UP.
Yep, not even touching the holy shields of the Fighting Maroons, but they're going to be transitioning onto the side, and Martinez is going to be bursted out of pieces. Still an iframe. 2 of those is going to be allowing him to escape. The Throne's Welcome is going to be caught. Seacat is going to be caught in the crossfire as well, and then the Muddles are going to be attacking one by one. Mariano's going to be going down initially. Gabri now is going to be coming up next. They're going to wait for the next minion wave to spawn, but the holy shields might be able to save UP here, but we cannot deny that Farin and the rest of FEU is online.
And this might just be endable. 10 seconds onto Seacat, but the minions does spawn quite early. This is in the favor of UP. This means that FEU, they have to relegate it to taking that bottom lane inhibitor turret instead, and UP breathes another day.
But those 2 inhibitors were already gone from start up until the end. It's FEU making the most out of the mistakes that UP has been pulling off over the course of the last 2 minutes. You're seeing a stark difference now compared to the Gold Lane matchups. It's a total of 2.3k.
Wow.
That Gabrinao now has to catch up. It was a totally different story 3 minutes ago, where it was just 200, 300, something that UP can definitely worry about. But all of a sudden, Wage just said, you know what, let's go.
It's time.
It's time. I am ready to throw some muddles. I am ready to throw some needles. And that is exactly what he did.
And FEU right now, they know that this is their power spike. They know that they should be fighting right now, and they've been doing that for the past few minutes. UP, on the other hand, they need to be able to survive that onslaught if they want to win. They need to wait out around 6-7 minutes before they're able to fight against FEU, because this will be another Lord take. It's going to be really hard for them to fight this unless they risk really badly, and I don't think that that should be the call. You still have an Hanabi. You can clear the waves. So I feel like at this point, if you're UP, just play defensively for the next 6 minutes, and maybe, just maybe, the Hanabi Gabri now has could keep up and deal the damage that he has to deal.
Yeah, he still has the Aegis that he can use in the later portions of this clash. UP is going to be going back to their oval to actually try and defend from what FEU is trying to pull off here. The guys, the dudes, the gents from Moraita, they want to tie up this series to get their very first point of UAAP Esports 2026, but UP doesn't want to allow that to happen. Does Gabri now have enough in him to finally lock it in for UP and eventually make a comeback?
He's going in for the Wind of Nature. That's a defensive item for his 4th item that I feel like won't be available the moment the Lord marches in. So it's going to be on FEU's court to try and end this right now. This is their biggest chance to take it all.
Martinez already using the iframes, and then a flicker together with its own as well. They're going to try to burst down Seacat, and that's exactly what they're going to do. A guiding wind is going to be there, and it's going to be enough for him to stay alive. Next up is going to be the Lord. A go away is going to be there as well, throwing in the metals as a combination as well. But then it's still going to be UP looking for a kill instead as Seacat lands on the first kill. Martinez is going to be escaping. The Lord is gone. All inhibitors are out, but UP is still breathing.
And this is a hard part. The moment for FEU to swallow this really hard pill, this bitter pill. UP is starting to be painful. Espiritu tanked a lot of damage, fell down in the process. Sure, you got 3 inhibitor turrets out of that one, but you have to play this Lord wave or this Lord dance really smartly the next time around. That's 80 seconds from now. And right now, the Hanabi does have the Wind of Nature. I feel like this is going to be a Rose Gold Meteor as his 6th item. The moment that you see that Rose Gold Meteor, that is the power spike that UP wants to see. That is the go signal for UP to start fighting. Meanwhile, for FEU, securing this Lord is their, I would say, second to the last chance to end this game, unless, of course, Ablanida finds a miracle pickoff here.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this before. Hanabi coming into play when it matters the most. Now Martinez is going to be the main target, but obviously he will be able to escape through the help of those iframes. So UP has their fate in their hands. They only trail by 10k, so we cannot deny that this is a mountain to climb for the UP fighting Maroons, but eventually they have the tools to do so, as the Lord is going to be appearing in a little bit more than 30 seconds, but something that UP, I think, would no longer be contesting, given that they have some sort of wave clear and a decent amount of it to be able to defend.
The smartest decision for UP fighting Maroons right now is to just give the Lord and set your waves as fast as possible.
Correct.
As safely as possible. Fight as 5 underneath the turret. Protect Gabrinao at all costs. And potentially get Farin or Wage out of the equation as fast as possible. That way, UP extends this game, allows for the other members to catch up and maybe fight for an Evolved Lord. But right now, FEU has all the right to take whatever they want inside the map. And they're going to start with this Lord. They're going to push with it later on as the waves just recently spawned. And now they have all the time to secure the buffs as well.
Again, that major objective was supposed to go to FEU. All of the inhibitors of UP are finally out. And with this might be one of the few chances that the Tamaraws have in order for them to finish this game off. Ablanida is 3-0-5. Farin has only died once. They have the tools, but they can also defend when you're looking at it.
Yep, and that's a Rose Gold Meteor right in time for Gabrinao. This is a fully set up Hanabi defending the base of UP fighting Maroons. And FEU with another big chance to end this all, marching down the mid lane. Are they just gonna go for the blitz?
Rose Gold Meteor together with the AGs is going to be available for Gabrinao as of this moment. The Lord is already going to be locking into the base. Seacat is just using the Dryad to be able to get away from that situation. Wage is just continuously going to be fighting, and that marks the end as quickly as possible. Place is successful. FEU finally gets a point.
And imagine hyping up that defense on the side of UP with a fully built Hanabi. But FEU just says, the hell with that Hanabi, we're gonna go in for the base instead. We have the Evolved Lord, we're just gonna walk right through it and start attacking the base. We're not gonna fight this team fight because we don't have to.
Man, I ain't fighting all that.
I ain't fighting all that.
That's your problem, not mine. That's what FEU wanted to show. I mean, we saw him build up the Rose Gold Meteor, the AGs was there. But you know what, guys? If we lock in all together and lock towards the base all together,
it's gonna take us 2 seconds.
It's gonna take us 2 seconds, and that's exactly what happened.
Oh man, FEU with a smart shot calling. Why fight the final boss when you can skip the chapter, right?
That's true. It's pay to win.
It's still a win, man. At this point, a point is a point, and that denies UP fighting Maroons from getting 6 points tonight.
Yep.
FEU successfully tipped the scales back to their favor, now maxing out to a 7-point maximum for the side of UP, and a 7-point maximum as well for FEU.
So I would say they should get at least 1 point tomorrow. Ablanida, though, is going to be the story of the FEU Tamaraws unscathed in that game using the Barats, man. Usually this is the guy that's part of the front lines, but he's so smart with the way that he uses the hero. It felt like he was part of the front lines, but for some reason, he's too tanky to be bursted down.
Yep, and usually he gets the target that would like to burst him down, so nobody else could actually hurt this Barrett. A lot of the times in the early game, he would be able to get Martinez on his Herrera. And I feel like the first 2 deaths was actually because of this man shutting down the jungler inside the turtle pit, then inside his own jungle, then officially just ending the power spike for Herrera.
And then it became too late for UP, even with the Hanabi finally having something, you know? It felt like the damage is going to be real. A lot of ricochets are going to happen, but it didn't, because FEU was able to finish that game quite quickly, man. What a day number 1 this has been. And I think we can confirm nobody is out of the semifinal, or nobody has made it to the semifinals just yet.
Yeah, nobody. Maybe because we are already seeing the powerful teams as well getting the points that they want, or maybe just one. Looking at the Group A and Group B game results for day 1. Again, these are best of 2s. NU and UE are leading in Group A, and UST is dead last in this group of death. Group B either is actually it's really bad for Admo right now. Currently 0-4.
Yeah, there's some sort of similarities and differences between Group A and Group B. You're starting to see UP at a very good and solid position, and the same could be said for NU, in spite of them only playing 1 game. Both UE and UST have already fought at least once. Unfortunately, UST only has 1 more match tomorrow, and it's going to be against DLSU. So it has to depend on what UE's performance is going to be like, if they're going to be staying there, or will DLSU or UST at least push them off to make it to the top 2 spot.
Yeah, Group A is still very tight, but the chances are very slim for UST.
Right.
It still depends on UE's performance and, of course, their game against DLSU. Same could be said for DLSU. The top 2, 3, and 4 of Group A still very much in shambles. Meanwhile, for Group B, tops 1, 2, and 3 are very much fighting for that slot, or the remaining slots towards the next phase. Meanwhile, for Admo, I fear that they're the only team right now who has very slim to none chances to go to the next few days.
Yeah, I think that's the only set of players that have unfortunately not gotten a point over their last 2 games for today. But the matchup that I think that would also be significant in Group B would be none other than that Adamson and FEU matchup. 3 points for Adamson, 1 point for FEU. Imagine if the sweep was possible.
And all of that happening tomorrow. Such an exciting day for UAAP Esports MLBB 2026. We have been your casters for tonight. Theo Ignacio with Hans Galeria, and in behalf of Biggie Arayata, we'll be throwing you over to our hosts.
UAAP fans, beside me is our MVP for Game 1, none other than Sikat. So congratulations for that win. And what made you, what do you think worked for you that made you win on the Game 1?
I think the thing that really helped us is that our trust with each other is very, very deep, in such a way that no matter the adversity or how much we came from behind, we are able to come back, and we can still make plays because we trust each other and we believe in the power of friendship.
Trust and friendship is the key. And after this thrilling game against the Tamaraws, what will be your mindset coming on to the next?
Having a tie with the Tamaraws, I really think that we were really excited of this result. Maybe some of you will think that we were disheartened with a loss, but this is what makes the competition exciting. We're supposed, this is not supposed to be this easy. We have to earn it, and that's what makes the competition really valuable to us.
Thank you very much. And lastly, do you have any message to your supporters here at the MVP Studios?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank my family for coming all the way from Fairview, and my church mates, my teammates from UP, and I would like to give thanks to the Lord for the blessings and for the opportunity to play. And lastly, I would like to dedicate our games today to my tita, my tita, the one who raised me. I love you, tita, and I hope you're doing well there at home.
Once again, Sikat, our MVP for Game 1. And now to hear more for our FEU Tamaraws, let's hear from Rexler.
From the power of friendship, going to the all-out charge of our team from Moraita. With me is Game number 2 MVP, Ablanida. And definitely all the love and support coming from Moraita, coming here to MVP Studios. Of course, your team took the win for game number 2, but some of your teammates' faces says otherwise. What was going through your mind at the time?
So during game 1, there were some things that we didn't anticipate or didn't expect, which didn't occur when we practiced it in scrims. So during the game 2, we just reset our minds. Then we just played how we usually play, having fun. Then that's how it turns out.
Well, the wheels keep turning at this point. But of course, any message from everyone from the FEU community right now, cheering and supporting for you guys?
So I want to shout out my mother and my sister. Then also to my FEU teammates, then our manager, and then also to our sponsors. So then I also want to shout out to Kuya Beam, Sir Frank, and Sir Moy Moy for letting us stay at their house for our boot camp, so we had time to practice.
All the love and support, and of course, once again, Mr. Ablanida, congratulations, and congratulations to all of the teams for making it this far into our competition. And day number 2 is tomorrow. So before anything else, of course, maraming salamat for everyone who's still here. But now let's go to Angelica for more updates.
Thank you everyone for tuning in for our day 1, and let us all see each other again tomorrow. But first of all, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our UAAP Varsity channel, Filipinas Live, and One Sports.
Yes, and speaking of everything happening on One Sports, of course, keep it locked in for tomorrow as day number 2 determines who will make it to our top 4 for UAAP Esports MLBB. Once again, don't forget to use our official hashtags. Those are hashtags UAAP Esports 2026, UAAP Season 88, hashtag for everyone UAAP, and hashtag Legends Start Here.
To another one and more to come. Rexler, once again, I am Angelica Sarmiento.
And my name is Rexler Bayani, and we'll see you all again in the next round of our MLBB tournament here for the UAAP Esports 2026. We'll see you all again tomorrow.
All the best sports action is right here. Never miss a play.
It's now alive and well. This Levi defensive stop of the hand.
Good take it. Look at this pass coming to
Good fit.
Parientos.
Yeah, there was a hit on the left arm.
All the best sports action is right here. Never miss a play.
It's now alive and well. This by defensive stop of the hand.
We're taking. Look at